Hey gang, it's JC and this is your Daily Dose for Thursday, June 3rd, 2010. A cooperative venture with Mind Active in beautiful downtown Brentwood. We have archives for you available anytime. You got a menu bar up there, hit the tabs. You can also contact me there. We have lots of cool things coming, and in the next couple of days we're going to be telling you how you can listen to the Daily Dose via your iTunes stuff and your smartphone. We're going to be streaming and podcasting, doing all sorts of stuff, and we're always trying to streamline this site and make it better for you. So far, so good. There's about 10,000 of you following us here at jc'sdailydose.com. We'd like it to be a lot larger than that, so please spread the word. I've got raccoons here, by the way. We got a family of 3 raccoons, and some people tell me, oh, don't worry about them because they're afraid of you. They don't want to be near you. And other people say, oh no, Jesus, get them away from the house because they chewed a hole this big in our garage door. If you know anything about raccoons, let me know, because I don't like the idea of them being this close, and I'm afraid I have to get out the pellet gun. If they weren't cute, they would be just like squirrels. You could shoot them and not feel bad about it. Also, I had a rubber plant commit suicide over the weekend, a beautiful, thriving rubber plant that I loved. And the thing just died out of nowhere. Why does that happen? My friend Tom Schwartz from Oasis Plant says, JC, sometimes plants die, but it's still hard to take. All right, let's go to the news. And Mark McGuire's wife is expecting triplets for the McGuires. She was taking fertility drugs, but Mark says, oh no, the fertility drugs had nothing to do with her getting pregnant. See, that's a really funny joke. You'll laugh at that later. All right, they started with Kevin Costner down in the Gulf, and they said, we got oily water, and we understand you have a machine that can clear it up, and we didn't hear anything more about that, did we? Well, now they've called the director of Avatar and Titanic, James Cameron, to try and help. You get the idea they're going to try and call Aquaman, or somebody's going, hey, does anybody have Flipper's home phone number? And then they were trying to saw something, and then the saw gets stuck in the pipe. You get the idea like it's the Three Stooges trying to plug this leak. And now BP is trying something called a blowout preventer. Sounds like something they should have had in the first place, a blowout preventer. If it doesn't work, I understand they're interested over at Rams Park for the upcoming season in the blowout preventer. All right, another big story, one of those CIA Predator drones is flying around and takes out Al-Qaeda's number 3 guy in Pakistan, the number 3 man. That's according to the USA Today coaches poll. Al Gore and Tipper are separating after 40 years. What goes wrong after 40 years that you can't resolve? You've been leaving the cap off the toothpaste for 39 years. And if you do it again, they were very quick in their press release to point out that there was no affair involved, no big scandal, no affair, unless, of course, you count Al Gore's obsession with Mrs. Fields and Sarah Lee. I'm going to tell you about the 2 jerks I ran into over the weekend. One was at the farmer's market in Kirkwood, and she's wearing a Bill O'Reilly t-shirt in Kirkwood, where the whole Sean Hornbeck thing took place. And what did Bill O'Reilly say about Sean Hornbeck again? Oh, that's right, he was a weird kid because he had an earring, and he implied that somehow Sean Hornbeck was enjoying his kidnapping stay with that creep down there in Kirkwood. And in Kirkwood, she's wearing a Bill O'Reilly shirt. Nice going. Did I mention she was fat? And then also at the Greek Fest. You go to the Greek Fest. It's a wonderful event over there in De Pere. You need some more shuttle buses, by the way. But other than that, the food is great. And you have a good time and everything. And it's 90 degrees and it's muggy. You know, and the air is not moving. And you're under a tent, so it's even worse. And you're eating, and there's little kids around, and people are trying to enjoy their food. And some douchebag behind me lights up a cigar. Nice going. Don't come next year. All right, you know those little flat silver batteries that are popular now in hearing aids and remote controls and cameras and stuff like that? Well, apparently they're very attractive to little kids. They see them and they want to just pick them up and put them in their mouth like they're candy. And these kids are getting really sick and in some cases dying because something happens or some sort of chemical reaction or something. These things get in the kid's stomach and start burning a hole. So dispose of those things the way you're supposed to. And while dangerous, I'm told that there's still more nutrition in those than in a Happy Meal. All right, I'm twisted by the pool here today because, when a company says we're pulling the plug on your radio show, even though you're doing a great job, and you got 15 months left on your contract, and we're going to pay you. So we're going to pay you to do nothing. You know what you do? You go on videos and you sit in front of the pool, and you remind them what a good time you're having. But a great argument for having your own pool, scientists now say you ingest about 6 tablespoons of urine for every hour you spend in a public pool. I'm told, though, it still tastes better than Zima. All right, I want to tell you about Joe Walsh. Some guy wants to kill Joe Walsh. Some guy in his 70s. Joe Walsh is 62. But some elderly guy named Nassar Adhoot. So it all began when Adhoot trespassed onto Joe's property earlier this month, and Joe's personal assistant goes out to talk to the guy and say, hey, you're on my property here. And Adhoot allegedly attacked him with a block of wood. So now he says, you tell Joe Walsh I'm going to kill him. No word as to why Adhoot is so worked up about this whole thing. I like to drive over the speed limit when I can. Now, I don't drive dangerously. If I'm in traffic, I slow it down. But if you're on an open road and there's nothing ahead of you, and it's just flat, and you're driving along, gas it a little bit. Here are 7 facts about speeding and how not to get caught. Number 1, did you know your speedometer is probably wrong? It registers fast. If it says you're going 50, you're probably going about 47. Keep that in mind. If you drive a Hummer, you're screwed. You are 463% more likely to get a speeding ticket if you're driving an H2. I'm skipping number 3 because it comes from Sweden. Next, radar detectors are illegal almost everywhere. Virginia, as a matter of fact, is the only state where radar detectors are illegal. Stay the hell out of Wyoming. Wyoming gives out more tickets per capita than any other state. Last year, police gave out 46,000 tickets. That comes out to about 1 ticket for every 11 people. Speeding is a factor in about 1/3 of all fatal crashes, and men are more likely to speed by a wide margin than women. Here's how to avoid being pulled over. Stay in the middle of the pack. Don't change lanes a lot. Avoid the left lane when you can, and find a car that's going about the same speed as you want to go, and go, a couple of, maybe 100 yards behind him or something, and maybe he gets caught and you don't. All right. Still sick about that rubber plant. Last year on this date, David Carradine, the actor, checked out. I only mention that for 2 reasons. Number 1, it was that autoerotic asphyxiation, which is just incredibly embarrassing. But if you're dead, you don't really care because you're dead, right? But the other reason I bring it up is because he was the first guy to go in that famous Summer of Death last year. Do you remember that? David Carradine was first. Then you had Farrah Fawcett and Walter Cronkite and Ed McMahon, Billy Mays, Patrick Swayze, Ted Kennedy, the Taco Bell Chihuahua, Gidget checked out, and of course Michael Jackson. And by the way, let me warn you right now, because it's going to be one of those real freak shows in a couple of weeks on the 1st anniversary of Michael Jackson's death. All right, just a reminder that Tosh.0 is back on the air for their 2nd season. I think this show is hilarious. It's on HBO. I'm sorry, it's on Comedy Central, and they run it most nights at about 9:30, and then they rerun it later. This guy is freaking hilarious. Daniel Tosh is his name. Try out Tosh.0. You'll laugh your ass off. All right, what do we got here? Video Village. There was a time when you could understand Ozzy Osbourne, and you got to go back to 1986 for it, but we're going back for an old Channel 5 interview when Ozzy was in town from Channel 5 in 1986. That's the Video Village this week. The Wayback Machine also go back to 1986, and an old newscast from the 5 o'clock show before Jennifer Blome was on the early morning show. She was doing the 5 o'clock news. You may not recognize her. It was that long ago. Not necessarily the news today. Steve Spagnuolo and Sam Bradford, your new Rams quarterback. That's Nala the dog barking at nothing over there. JC's Eye Candy today. We had another douchebag run out onto the field during a Cardinal game last night, and they tell the security people, tackle him. Grab whatever you have to bring him down. And so they did. What do you see this photograph? All right, tomorrow we're going to tell you about 10 sexual fantasies that can go horribly, horribly wrong. And also 10 signs that you're out of touch with technology. Speaking of which, we're going to talk about this AT&T story yesterday, which is huge. AT&T announced they're going to soon do away with its unlimited data plan for wireless customers and put caps on usage. That is a huge story. We'll get to it tomorrow. All right, that's it for today. It is Thursday, June 3rd, 2010, and we'll see you tomorrow with another edition of the Daily Dose. In the meantime, we beat this one to death. Have a good one. See you later. Bye.